Hello, and welcome to today's American Flyer Trains. This video, and others that may follow, is about the rebuild of 4945, a pair that the owner has given me the privilege of rebuilding. This pair was made in 1956 by A.C. Gilbert. The dummy A unit you see here in the video, 495, would have had, according to Doyle, a horn, diesel roar, and an operating headlight. The 495 you see here may not be an original, considering the fact that it doesn't meet the requirements that Doyle described in having roar. It does have a horn and it does have an operating headlight. But it is an absolutely beautiful, breathtaking paint job on this train that I have ever seen. It is absolutely flawless. And if you look back in Doyle, there's no description of 494 and 495 having this white stripe here. It should have had, I think, a livery that matches this 497, and that is the black stripe with the New Haven raised one section above. Very similar on the front end. I think this one's been repainted by obviously an expert. The lines are absolutely precise. I believe it has been repainted because you can tell about how smooth some of the rivets are on top, and how sometimes the vents are kind of filled in with what appears to be paint. They don't have that rough feeling to them, but appears to have a little paint sunken in, maybe as it has down here on these steps. I put a new sticker on the front. The other one had kind of peeled off. And it is really a privilege to work on something that looks like this. Now that's where the looks good ended. I took off on the task of rebuilding this dummy A unit. Now a lot of folks have asked, why do I rebuild these? Why go to the effort of rebuilding trains? If it operates and it looks decent, it's acceptable, just put it on the rail and play with it and have a good time. Well, I'm a little bit more of a perfectionist than that. Why? Well, I want all my trains, and those that I return to the owners, that I will like this one, I want them to operate and perform and respond as they did, say, in 1956. That was the initial approach that I took when I rebuilt my Mountaineer from 1953, a train that I had received as a young boy, and I'll never forget that first Christmas with the precision that it operated. So when I rebuilt it, I said, hey, I want to return it to 1953 so that when I put it on the track, man, I'm really having a good time with it. The other reason is that I want it to perform and respond extremely well, and I want to extend the functional life of these trains maybe another 50 years. Now, another sidebar item as to why I rebuild them, ask the question, did A.C. Gilbert produce these trains with rust on the interior, built up grease, blackened contact wheels? No, they didn't produce them with all those little problems that you find when you open these up. They were just pristine clean, and I want my trains to be pristine clean, inside and out, when I return them to the owner. I wouldn't dare touch this paint on this train. I just cannot get over how precise it is. Even the stacked NH just looks absolutely beautiful, but I do believe it has been painted. The person who did this restoration or switch over to this, making this dummy A unit be a 495, didn't do anything to the interior of it, and it does not contain diesel roar. What I found myself doing in the rebuild of this was eradicating rust and rust damage on the interior. Trucks, axles, the top of the frame, the bottom of the frame, it was very prevalent everywhere. And in some cases, I didn't get, for example, the light base, headlight base to look up to my standards, but I don't think it's possible to get it to look any better because it was in such a state of deterioration. Now, the speaker was also damaged. The speaker's paper had rotted out or dry rotted such that it had collapsed inside the speaker frame, and there really wasn't nothing I could do to this one or wanted to. I don't know if you can really replace this paper on them. I don't want to dive into that, but I'm working with the owner right now to find a suitable replacement to put in this train. And by the way, while this livery on this train does not match the 497, my 497, notice that it's the shiny black plastic, it comes closest to matching a 499, which I know has never been repainted. This is shiny black plastic that I obtained from one of the best restorers of these trains, but he did not paint it. He simply cleaned it up a little bit, and I took that cleanup to another level. But it works terrifically, and I'm getting ready to replace probably its power truck, because I've just had some new chassis rebushed. This one, the 495, I cleaned thoroughly on the bottom with lubrication, with a coating of CRC 226 on all metal, and then let that cure to remove, to hopefully manage the buildup of rust in the future. I noticed that it even had a buildup of oil and grease between the motor frame and the side frame structure. Is almost stuck on here from grease. I don't know why anybody would have poured that much grease on the axles or oil, but they had. So I also completely disassembled, and in one case put a new spring on the slide or shoe contacts. So what you'll see to finish this video series out, and maybe even the video altogether, is a railhead test of this one being pulled by my 497, because I want to show the owner that it does operate very smoothly, and I think it's very acceptable for his collection and operation.